welcome to how to tackle a 16-mark question for your G671 exam. Remember, this is the one that you're studying with either me or Miss Fowler, okay? This is not Mrs. Arkle. So, 16-mark question. Unlike the 17 on the other paper, the 16-mark question consists of AO1 and AO2A marks, which is based on your knowledge and understanding of socialisation, culture and identity. The 16-mark question consists of 12 AO1 marks and 4 AO2A marks. That is how it differs from the 17 on Mrs. Arkle's paper. In the exam, you should aim to spend around 15 minutes answering the 16-mark question. So, what is the 16-mark question asking you to do? The two command words are as follows. The first one, identify, which means that you show you can recognise an argument. Maybe an example, an idea or a fact, or the viewpoint that might appear in the question. Secondly, the other command word, explain. This means you need to show your knowledge and understanding by applying them in a way that is relevant to the question. That is key. It has to be relevant to the question. Often you will need to give reasons or causes for social change, for example, trends or relationships when you see this command word. So, how do you structure a response to a 16-mark question? It's quite simple, same as the 17-mark question. Okay, so paragraph 1, that's where you define all the key concepts or terms in the question. Okay, so if the question is about status, you need to be defining the word status. Okay, paragraph 2, this is where you give your first reason, your where, your function, your characteristic or trend. You define it and then you go on to explain it using sociological evidence. Your second paragraph, you do the same, but this time you give a second reason, way, function, characteristic or trend, and you use sociological evidence again to support what you are saying. There is no conclusion for this question. In writing one, you are wasting time and you're not gaining any extra marks, so make sure you don't do that. Now, I've just gone through the structure, but to help you, why don't you pick one of the 16-mark questions out of the How to Tackle This Paper booklet that we gave you and have a go at writing one. Let's do it together. So, pick a question and press play once you've got it. Okay, so you've got your question. So, begin by briefly explaining the key concepts that appear in that question. Press pause and then play once you've done it. Brilliant. Hope that went well. Now, we're going to look at paragraph number 2. This is where you're going to define and explain your first reason, way, function, characteristic or trend. You must remember to use sociological evidence. So, what I do is think of your answer, then go and look it up in the textbook. But remember to pause me so I don't go on to paragraph 3. Great. Now let's have a go at the last paragraph. This time you need to define and explain your second point. So hopefully you've got one. And once again you need to go away to the textbook, all your lesson notes, and see if you can add any information to what you already have. Remember, pause me, otherwise I'll go on. Okay, hopefully you've got a fantastic answer now, but let's just check that you've got everything in there that you need to have in there. This is the 16-mark question checklist. So, have you defined the key terms and concepts that are in the question in your answer? Do you have 2 separate points that are clear, separate and different? Have you written them all in separate paragraphs? Is there a piece of sociological evidence or research in each of the paragraphs? Have you explained all the evidence that supports the point that you're making? And have you illustrated each point with examples and explained them? If you have, I bet you've got a brilliant answer. Okay then, before you go, I'm just going to run through the structure again with you. Paragraph number 1, this is where you need to define the key concepts that appear in the question. Paragraph 2, this is where you define and explain the first reason or way, function, characteristic or trend. Remember, you have to get sociological evidence in there. Sociological evidence are concepts, theories like functionalist, Marxist, studies, okay? And don't forget contemporary evidence. The big thing at the moment that you can use are the riots, so make sure you get it in there. Paragraph 3, define and explain the second way, reason, function, characteristic or trend. Remember, use sociological evidence. Hopefully that's been helpful, guys. Have a go at it and I'll see you in class.